From the 6th of April this year, if you are a non-domiciled individual, you will be treated as being domiciled in the UK for income tax, capital gains tax and inheritance tax purposes if you've been resident in the UK for 15 out of the last 20 years. This is a major change. There's also a technical change for individuals who were born in the UK and had a domicile of origin in the UK, but who have acquired a domicile in another country. As soon as they become, if they become UK resident, again for income tax purposes, they will instantly be deemed to be domiciled in the UK for inheritance tax purposes. What the government have said is that they will allow individuals who are caught to rebase any foreign assets that they hold as at the 6th of April 2017 if they've ever actually paid the remittance basis charge and if they're domiciled from, deemed domiciled from the 6th of April. This can be done on an asset-by-asset basis, so it's quite a generous relief in that it allows to potentially wash out any historic gains for UK purposes moving forward. What the government have said is that between 6th of April 17 and 18, they will allow these accounts to be rearranged so that individuals can take capital out of these accounts, put them in a different account, and then bring those funds to the UK tax-free. This is one way that the government is hoping to encourage inward investment. There are certain anti-avoidance rules that apply to these trusts, and the government has confirmed that they won't apply if the settlor becomes deemed domiciled, if the settlor adds no further funds or assets to the trust, and that they themselves, their spouse or their minor children don't receive any benefits from it. Then if that is the case, then any income, foreign income that arises in the trust after that date will not actually be taxable on them. You also potentially have offshore trust beneficiaries. You will potentially have a UK non-dom individual who is the beneficiary of an offshore trust. From the 6th of April 2017, if that individual is deemed UK domiciled and they receive a capital payment from an offshore trust, then they will be taxable on any gains that that trust has made that can be matched with that sort of capital payment. So, for example, if an offshore trust disposes of an asset offshore and there's a gain of £1,000 and a UK beneficiary receives £1,000 as a capital payment from that trust, then they will be taxable on that £1,000 gain. It doesn't matter if there are any other, let's say, offshore beneficiaries in other jurisdictions that have received payments. The entire gain will be taxable on the UK individual. In short, with these types of arrangements, you're going to have to carefully consider the tax treatments if there are any payments to be made. Non-domiciled individuals used to be able to set these trusts up before they arrived and became domiciled in the UK, and then any assets, any foreign assets that were within them would remain outside the scope of inheritance tax. The HMRC and the government have confirmed that that status can actually continue as long as when the settlor becomes deemed domiciled, they don't add to the trust assets after that point. Finally, we have UK residential property. Again, a common technique for non-domiciled individuals was to hold UK residential property in offshore structures. What the government have now put in place is basically a look-through. So if the value of this offshore structure is sitting in UK residential property, then the UK will tax it. For IHT purposes, the UK will tax it. A lot of people are now looking to unwind these structures because if they're no longer effective and they can be expensive to administer, they've been trying to unwind them and de-envelope these properties. The issues that you have is that there are a lot of tax charges that can arise, UK tax charges, that can arise on this de-enveloping process. So it does actually need very careful thought.